नमस्कार, सुस्वागतम। जेम्स ऑफ एशिया में एक बार फिर से राम आप सबका स्वागत करता है दोस्तों। और there is a say in English that behind every successful man there is a lady, there is a woman. There are many of them sometimes. But what happens when there is a successful lady? What would you say then? आप क्या कहेंगे अगर औरत ही खुद बहुत ऊंचे मुकाम तक पहुंची? आइए बात करते हैं एक ऐसे ही सक्सेसफुल शख्सियत से, बहुत प्यारी, सुंदर, बहुत बुद्धिमान, इंटेलिजेंट, और जिनके पेशे से अक्सर लोग बड़े कंफ्यूज रहते हैं, कुछ लोग डरते हैं, कुछ लोग तभी इनके पास जाते हैं कि बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत हो, लेकिन एक बहुत ही इंटेलिजेंट पर्सनालिटी आज जेम्स ऑफ एशिया में हमने आमंत्रित किया है ब्रिटेन की वन ऑफ द नोन लेडी सॉलिसिटर Ritu Sethi. Ritu, welcome to James.
Thank you very much. Hello to you and your audience.
How are you?
I'm very well, very well.
Ritu, whenever we hear the Sethi solicitors,
Sethi Partnership Solicitors,
Sethi Partnership Solicitors, it's a big name in United Kingdom, but I'm sure it has not become a big name overnight.
No, no, not at all.
It must have taken a long time and lots of hard work and whatnot. But whenever that name is mentioned, people don't think about a big building, too many people are attending phone calls, or a black coat, nothing. What they think, the image people have with that name is a smiling face, which is
thank you.
And I'm sure the credit goes to you. But इससे पहले कि हम talk about your present situation, which is very, very good and very, very strong. Tell me how you started this.
Well, the journey actually began in Kenya with my parents. They're both school teachers, my mom and dad in Kenya. And so education was always there, back in the background. I came here when I was 8. My parents then encouraged us to study like everyone else. Went to Bristol and I studied a law degree there, always with the intention of working for women, for children. The first area of law I practiced was in fact domestic violence, always for the underdog and protecting women, and that was what I wanted to do. I then went into a practice where in Pinner in Harrow after getting married. I married in 1988 to my husband Sethi, and moved to Harrow, and I was in a practice and I was basically doing domestic violence work, defending battered wives, children, and then I had an interest in crime and always defending people at police stations. I did quite well in the firm when I first started, so much so that my senior partner then made me a partner straight away. So without any question, I was a partner in a firm when I was only in my 20s, early 20s. The firm was a conveyancing practice and it did mainly property work, and this is in 1990 when there was a property crash. And the criminal department, which I was running, basically looked after and took care of all the property crash in the firm. So with that came very quick success. The senior partner then, he basically gave me a Mercedes convertible. I was in my 20s driving a £75,000 car, wow. So you can imagine. And it all came very quickly because of the work I was doing. However, with every experience, there is always a price to pay. And the price was that my partner, in fact, became a cocaine addict. And my other partner, there was 3 of us, was a 52-year-old Jewish man who really couldn't bear the strain. And the senior partner who had this addiction then started using money from the firm to pay for his habit. At the time, my son was 2, and I just had given birth to my daughter, who was just born. We're talking about 1993. And the addiction developed so much so that the 52-year-old partner died of a heart attack. So that left me and a senior partner. All his mood swings, and we had our back up against the wall. I basically had to leave that practice and set up Sethi Partnership on my own. And there's a saying that when you leap, the net appears. And I had to leap basically out of the practice, and the net did appear. And that's how it all began.
Before we move forward and talk about your empire, which is now quite big, why that particular field? Why defense, whatever particular line you chosen into your profession? Why that? Was there something which you have seen in your childhood? What actually encouraged you to go into this particular profession?
Well, we were from Kenya, as you know, and the injustices that we saw throughout our lives, even in Kenya, and we came to this country, and then we were the underdogs. The Asians were the underdogs. My father, who was a fully qualified teacher, my mother too. My mother couldn't find a job here as a teacher because she's an Asian woman. We're talking about 1970s, 1980s. England wasn't ready for women, Asian women teachers. They weren't even ready for Asian professional women. And we felt these injustices, which we were forever faced one way or the other, especially our parents' generation. And I always felt I was fighting for the underdog. It was always a question of, I'd see a film, Martin Luther King, I'd get inspired by him, by Gandhi, by anyone like that, and really give me the drive to want to do something for people who couldn't defend themselves or can't defend themselves. And crime was just fascinating. I mean, I could have chosen anything. I had such a great education in this country. I went to a grammar school in Ilford. I could have really gone into corporate, into finance, into the money-making areas, but it was more a natural interest and curiosity to actually be there. And it actually involves, being at a police station at odd hours, people get arrested, and I've defended people who've murdered others. I mean, I was defending at least one murderer a year in my earlier years. White-collar crime, defending all sorts, of criminals.
What was the general reaction to that? I mean, if a person, whether he's committed a crime or not, until he is actually guilty, he's
proven guilty,
walks into your office, not knowing that he's actually going to see a lady solicitor, that to an Asian lady solicitor. What was the general reaction to that? I mean, whether people were ready to take you as a representative, or they were hesitant, or you had to prove yourself many times?
Well, it's a double whammy, as they say, being an Asian and being a woman.
Yeah.
And when I first used to go to police stations, and I'll be defending yobs really, I mean the yob culture they talk about today has always been there. There's always been a teenage yob culture. And I was defending someone, and I remember this very distinctly, at Harrow Police Station, and I was on duty. I was called to the police station. They said, "Can you come and defend this person? He has just hit another man on the street." That's all the information I got. I got to Harrow Police Station, and I walked through the custody suite, and then went into the cell, and they said, this is what he's done. English white male, basically racial abuse against a Gujarati man, and I had to go and defend him. So they opened the cell door. I walked in, and there was this, I can't say stereotype, but it was a 6-foot skinhead. And his face went red when he saw me at the cell door. And I said, "Well, I'm the duty solicitor. I've come here to defend you." And he said, "You my briefer?" I said, "Yes, I'm here. And I know what you've done. It's basically racial abuse, and not just abuse. He'd gone into a shop in Harrow, drunk, and then started first abusing the Asians there and saying, "Well, you've taken our houses, you've taken our jobs," and he was very distressed. Then he got hold of a customer and banged his head against the fridge door. Okay. So much so the police were called, and he was arrested. So when we were actually in the cell, and I was taking notes, he was very, almost apologetic at his behavior. But he said, "Well, it's true. I mean, they all drive the biggest cars. They all take our jobs. And, I just got very angry and went to abuse this person." And he didn't know how to react. We went into the interview, and even I had to be totally non-judgmental. And that's the thing about being a criminal lawyer. You can't judge even this man, who I wanted myself to be judgmental and really give him a piece of my mind. I couldn't do it. I just had to sit there, listen to him, and then do the best I could for him. And I think he learned his lesson, because having me as a solicitor then, it actually changed his viewpoint that not all Asians are what he thought they were.
That's what I'm saying, that because of this race relation,
yes,
that might happen that a person who has no choice but to, take you as a solicitor.
Yes.
And then, after the judgment is made, he comes back to you, or, some way or other he expresses feelings that because it was Asian lady solicitor, I lost. Has it ever?
No, it hasn't, thankfully.
दोस्तों हम बात कर रहे थे रितु सेठी से, जो बहुत ही मशहूर सॉलिसिटर हैं लंदन की, बहुत सारे अनुभव, और एक औरत होने की वजह से क्या क्या मुश्किलें आ सकती हैं, क्या क्या प्रकार के अनुभव उनको आ सकते हैं, सारी बातें हमने अब की. आगे बहुत सारी बातें करेंगे उनके साथ, बट आफ्टर अ शॉर्ट ब्रेक. जेम्स ऑफ एशिया के दूसरे भाग में एक बार फिर से आप सबका स्वागत है. दोस्तों, हमारे साथ आज हमारे स्टूडियो में मौजूद हैं लंदन यूके की एक बहुत ही मशहूर लेडी सॉलिसिटर रितु सेठी, क्योंकि जिनके साथ हम काफ़ी सारी बातचीत कर चुके हैं, और मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि आप लोग बड़ी बेसब्री से इंतज़ार कर रहे होंगे आगे की बातचीत करें. तो वी वर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट योर इनिशियल एक्सपीरियंस एंड हाउ यू स्टार्टेड एंड दिस दैट. अब देखना ये है कि in any profession, people always look for achievements and things which establish them in this market. Tell us about your achievements.
Achievements, like success, I would say, has been achieved because, and there is a saying, that success is a result of good judgment. Good judgment is a result of bad judgment. And bad judgment is a result of bad experience. So it actually all comes from bad experience do you get success. And this is how it has happened. As I said, 11 years ago now, I set up the Sethi partnership, and we just have gone from strength to strength. So much so that at one time I had an estate agency. I have a very established office now in West London, in Ruislip, in Eastcote. And in fact, as a practice, we've won all the awards that a solicitor's practice can win, which is Investors in People, Lexcel, Franchise Quality Standards. And then in November 2000, I won the Asian Businesswoman of the Year award, which was a great achievement because solicitors are not normally thought as being good business people. They're only thought as being solicitors. But when I first started, I didn't have a clue about business. In my world, it was a solicitor's practice. There were hardly any role models who were women business people. There were in other industries, maybe in fashion or in food industry, but not as in the professional, solicitors, accountants kind of scenario. So there were no role models, and there's still very few Asian women in this profession. More and more so now, but I'm talking about 20 years ago. It was a male-dominated profession, and even that white male-dominated. It's now we're getting our some more Asians in. So it was really a big award to win. It was a European award, the Asian Businesswoman of the Year, that I won. And from that came many other successes, which have just brought our business to go from strength to strength.
Right. When your services and your efforts, your intelligence is recognized by government and by society, there is of course people who are very happy, but there are people who are not very happy about it, and that is sometimes the people who are around you. What was the response from your own circle? I mean, there might be few, I don't know many lady solicitors, but what was the overall response?
No, very positive, very positive. My husband, Sudhir, as you know, has been very supportive. Our friends have always been there. And my family, Sudhir's family, we've always got support from all members of our family and friends. I've never had any negativity. And everyone's proud of the fact that we're breaking barriers. Every day we're breaking new barriers. And you can just see success. I mean, we're probably one generation. There's going to be 2, 3 generations in Britain doing far bigger, greater things on the back of what we've done. So it's for the good of everyone that we can break barriers.
Now, when you talk about solicitors, a normal view, a normal person would stay away from solicitor. I don't know. That's how people think.
Right.
They only come to you when they really need a solicitor. What is selfish motivated?
That's right.
So how is your social life overall? I mean, do you socialize?
Oh, very much so. We, in fact, socialize every weekend like most people. And we're both very sociable people, so yes, we are.
Because your profession is very demanding, so how do you balance yourself between, I mean, your family? You got children?
2 children. My son Avinash is 14, my daughter Nikita is 11, and I still pick up Nikita from school. I'm there with them. Holidays, I basically take the time off and I'm with the children. In my mind, there's children for such a short period of time, you do need to spend that time with them. So I have a perfect balance between work and socializing and with my children. There's never a problem.
Are they going to follow you, your children?
God knows. God knows.
What do you think about the profession?
I think they think it's a very respectable profession, but really they're both independent-minded people who've got their own strengths. So.
And what is your husband's opinion about all this?
Well,
is he very happy? Is he very supportive?
Very, extremely. In fact, he's always been. I've always said the wings, the air, the wind under my wings to help me fly. And likewise with his business, he's an IT business. He runs his own company and it's totally independent. He really doesn't know a thing about law. And likewise, I don't know a thing about IT.
No,
so we keep it very separate.
20 years. I mean,
yes.
I believe you're married for a few years now.
18 years,
18 years. When you started talking about, or when your parents started talking about your marriage, what was, I mean, he's not from a law background, is he?
No, no, we met at university. We met at Bristol.
Is it a law marriage?
Yes, yes. Yes,
it is a law marriage.
It is.
Was he not scared or anything?
Of me or my parents? No, he was not.
Parents or teacher.
Yes, yeah.
Very,
no,
his. And then your solicitors.
Yeah.
How was the overall?
It was perfect. Yeah. We met at uni. We knew each other for 3-4 years. Mm-hmm. Told our parents. So these parents were very happy about the whole marriage. My parents took a bit of time, but because they obviously thought it would be an arranged marriage I'll be having and didn't, and that's what surprised them. But once they met him, and they were extremely, content.
Since then, there's no
in retrospect, they're even happier.
Now, as a solicitor, you must have spent lots of time at various places, meeting so many people.
All the time.
You don't know who you're going to meet and who you're going to represent.
Yes.
Tell me about one such a moment which you don't want to remember, something which you really don't like it, you hate it so much, but it comes back to you. Any such moment?
I once defended a man from Bombay, in fact. He was in prison in this country for having murdered his mem sub. He was here as a servant to her. And not only did he murder her, he then chopped her body and put different bits of it in bags and in different parts of North London. And I remember having to represent him. And I mean, the man was actually so humble. There was nothing there I could find that would drive him to do such a crime. But it was reading the papers, looking at the different exhibits that we had to look at. And that did make me churn. But I had to represent him. He was at the Old Bailey, and he was so grateful to have an Indian person represent him who could speak in Hindi with him because he couldn't speak English. And that was one case that was disturbing.
It comes back sometimes.
It does come back because of the various, the arm was in one place, the head was somewhere else, and it was one of those very gruesome cases which...
Now tell me something which you want to cherish for life. It's such a moment when you really want to remember it all the time.
When my daughter got a scholarship for her school, for a senior school, which was a great moment. My son's achievements in sports and in maths, I mean, those are the glorious moments, really, for me.
And then the day you got married too.
Oh, the day I got married, and Sudhir's face and my face, we couldn't believe it, because we were still students.
Now we are almost towards the end of the show. I'm going to ask you a few questions on behalf of our viewers. and they always look for something, you know, some personal things. So you can just say no to me,
Okay.
or you can answer the way you normally answer, you know. The first question would be, what's your birth sign, zodiac sign?
I'm a Pisces. Pasquian.
Favorite color?
Red.
What's your favorite food?
Chaat.
Chaat.
A chaat. Aloo chaat.
Cooked by your husband? No.
No. He only cooks meat, and I'm a vegetarian.
What would be your favorite holiday destination? If somebody says, okay, forget everything, you know, leave all these criminals and nice people and just go away on a holiday, which spot would you prefer to?
Trinidad.
West Indies.
West Indies. Anywhere in the West Indies, but West Indies. Oh, yes.
Okay. Your favorite writer?
My favorite author would be, got several really. One favorite author?
Yeah.
Well, author and motivator is Anthony Robbins, American chap.
Right. Favorite political leader?
Oh, Tony Blair.
Tony Blair.
Oh, ardent fan.
Your favorite film?
Devdas.
Devdas.
And yeah.
Old one or new one?
New one. New Devdas. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What's your favorite song?
Favorite song is, I've got several.
One which you really want to remember all the time, or one which comes to you naturally, you know, when you think, or when you just...
I'll tell you which one. A Punjabi song,
Yeah.
Kende Ne Naina.
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
you just hum it? Come on.
Kende Ne Naina, Tere Kol Rehna.
That's nice.
My weakness, I should have told you, was singing.
What's your favorite film?
Oh, Devdas.
Devdas,
Hanji.
okay. Your favorite actor?
Oh, Shah Rukh Khan.
Actress?
Madhuri Dixit. That's why Devdas.
Okay. Who's your best friend?
My husband, Sudhir.
And
Avinash and Nikita.
okay. And last, who you love most? Apart from your work, of course.
Apart from?
Your work.
Who do I love most?
Yeah, you love your work, I know that.
Yes. Who do I love? Well, my children and my husband. That's it. And then extended family after that.
So friends, that's it for today. We had Ritu Sethi, a known solicitor, not only just a solicitor, she has got lots of social activities which we could not discuss today. She's a very helpful person. She does lots of charities, lots of social work, and so on. She is a very good artist as well. लेकिन इस प्रोग्राम में इतना ही. Ritu, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And all the best for the future.
Yes.
और दोस्तों इसी के साथ में जेम्स ऑफ एशिया का ये प्रोग्राम यहीं पर समाप्त होता है. अगले प्रोग्राम में फिर मिलेंगे. तब तक के लिए